Lies every day. Well, here to shed more light on that is Nick Calio, President and CEO of Airlines for America, the association that represents passengers and cargo airlines. Welcome, Nick. So glad to have you on with us here today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, Nick, spring break's just around the corner. People are talking about whether to go to events, whether or not to, whatever it is. They're traveling to their spring break destination. They're having people come to their house. This is how we are. We're a very mobile society. From an airline industry perspective, what's the balance between to travel, to not travel, to go out, not to go out, to get on a plane, not to go out? Where is the balance between safety and not wanting to panic?
Well, first of all, for our airlines, U.S. Airlines, the most important thing to us is the safety and well-being of our passengers and crews. We will not fly anywhere that it's not safe to fly. The president said that the other day, which was terrific, because to try to get that message out to quell the reaction to this virus is important, and the administration, the White House, is doing very, very good things in that regard, putting Vice President Pence in charge to get some control over the interagency process to make it move more smoothly and more quickly is really good. But here's what you have to do. You have to talk to the medical experts, follow the advice, go to the CDC website, and listen, and use some common sense. You know, we need to be prudent and prepared. We should avoid panic and overreaction to what is going on. To give it a little context, look, one death, one infection is too many. However, to provide a little context, in 2017, in this country, 80,000 deaths from the regular flu. In any given year, historically, 40 to 50,000 deaths. We don't stop going to baseball games. We don't stop traveling. We don't stop worrying about crowds. So again, a little perspective, follow medical advice, look whether you're one of the affected parties. You know, for our part, we're doing everything the government has asked us to do. We've enhanced the cleaning procedures on the planes, although we clean them all the time with disinfectant. And we're telling people, be prepared, wash your hands. That's the key one. You know, continue to wash your hands. Don't put your hands to your face. Cover yourself when you cough. Throw the handkerchief or the Kleenex away.
You know, and Nick, you were actually at the White House on Wednesday talking about how the airlines can work with federal agencies to improve this. And what are some additional things that you talked about how the airlines can work with agencies?
Well, first of all, I indicated we've complied with all the travel bans. We've been working now since this started with the White House, with all the agencies involved to try to find practical short-term solutions to trace someone who's been on a plane or gets on a plane who has the virus, and then find out where they are so the CDC can take action. In addition to that, we're looking at longer-term solutions to this, being able to trace someone. But in the interim, we've also talked about how we can do this better, because there are implications for it, there are impediments to doing it. So what we've suggested and what we're doing, I signed a contract yesterday to set up, create a mobile app and create a website that every passenger internationally would have to go on and sign on online, make it very easy, automated information going directly to the CDC. Airlines for America plans to contribute that website and mobile app to the federal government.
So you mentioned the steps that airlines are taking. Walk me through, if I'm a passenger right now and I get on a plane, how is it cleaned? I mean, how do I know that it's, you always hear about different, your phone isn't clean, this isn't clean, where you go here. When you're on a plane, how do I know that I'm getting into an environment that's relatively clean and disinfected, as you point out?
On most flights, it gets cleaned in between flights. Every plane gets cleaned at the beginning and end of every day with disinfectant, wiped down totally. If you're concerned about it, you can bring your own wipes, but you can be pretty confident that the germs are not going to spread through your putting your hands down on the airplane.
You know, Nick, we've been hearing that airports aren't as busy as they normally are and planes are a little bit empty. We had United laying off some people, Lufthansa now doing the same, Southwest saying how much it's impacting them. What effect is this actually having on the economy of the airlines as well?
It's having a significant impact. We're the tip of the spear when it comes to something like this. And we've seen, first of all, enplanements are down. The airports are less busy. Particularly in the last week, it's really started to have an impact. And what's really down are bookings going forward. I was at a Chamber of Commerce press conference the other day with the Chamber, hotels, other travel industry representatives, retailers. Everybody's numbers are down. And so it's going to have an economic impact. The problem that we have, when people react with fear and stop getting on airplanes, demand goes like this. it doesn't come back in the same kind of a V-shaped curve. And the problem with it is you need people, again, follow the medical advice, watch what they're saying, and make an informed decision, not a panic decision or an emotional decision. That sometimes gets hard with the media, so despite everything the White House is doing, everything the Vice President is doing, and everything we're doing, people are reacting to what's on about this. And again, I think context and perspective is important. Be prepared, be prudent, but don't overreact and don't panic.
You know, you talk about the impact that it's having on your industry, on its employees. Larry Kudlow, earlier today, the White House economic director, talked about having very targeted and timely relief for these industries, especially not just the airline industry, but the hotel industry and other tourism type industries. Have you guys asked for any of that help yet, or are you in coordination with the White House yet, or the Hill, to ask for some kind of relief?
To be honest, we haven't asked for any kind of relief yet. We do have a long-term concern, a longer-term concern about the impact on the industry and what it'll do. We've had 10 years of profitability, which in this industry is really an important thing and a great thing. This clearly is going to have an impact on that. So I think that's down the line. The fact that they are thinking about it, I think, again, is a demonstration of how they're being proactive in trying to do this, because this doesn't do anyone any good. It's just a matter of jobs at the end of the day. We will not fly. The President said the other day, anywhere the U.S. airlines fly, it's safe to fly. And they've named 4 places where you should be careful if you're going to fly. But every place else is open. The virus is on 6 continents now out of 7. So you have to look at that. And what we want to do, we'd like to keep flying, but we won't fly anywhere it's not safe to fly. The reason we're taking flights down is because the demand is down, not because it's unsafe.
You know, real quick, so often we're talking about the safety of travelers, but you also have to deal with flight attendants, baggage people. How are you dealing with that and making sure your workers are safe as well?
We're trying to provide information for all the public, including our workers, our employees. We've Airlines Take Action Now. We've created a website that has all the information you need.
What's the name of the site?
airlinestakeactionnow.com, and it's got a ton of information, very updated about is it safe to fly, about the disease and everything like that. But again, our passengers and crew are always our first priority. So we're trying to keep our crews educated. It's not just the passenger carriers, it's the cargo carriers who are still flying to some of the impacted areas, because we need to try to keep the supply chain up. And they've got a cleaning protocol in place to protect their crews, to protect packaging both going and coming back.
Thank you, Nick, so much for being here. Really appreciate your insights.
Thank you for having me.